Has it has this thing not been on air this whole time?
Oh my God, the live button.
Bruh, I hate myself so bad. Okay, we'll continue. We'll continue you, and then we'll go on to me. Sorry. Okay,
Okay.
continue.
Hi, this is Carmelito, and we're interviewing Chris-Naylon, and we're doing our cars. So uh, I want to ask you who taught you how to drive?
So I learned how to drive from my dad. My dad taught me how to drive standard when he first taught me how to drive, and I feel like that was really important for me.
Okay. So what kind of car do you drive?
I currently drive a Ford Ranger, 2001 Ford Ranger.
Okay. Well, why do you think you got a Ford Ranger? Is there any reason why you chose that?
Actually, I didn't get a choice in what vehicle I got. It was actually a gift from my father after graduation.
Oh, that's nice. What do you like about your truck?
Um, I think that question can be answered twofold. One, I do enjoy the I guess ability to use the use of a truck, so the ability to move large objects and stuff like that. But I also enjoy the fact that my truck is a standard truck.
Okay. So I'm not sure. Um, when did you start driving?
So I started driving when I was 16 years old. That's when I got my permit. That's when I legally started driving. I had driven a few times without a permit before that. Um, and from there, it was largely just so that because my parents needed to give me a little bit more independence from them, just because I had so many um, types of things that I was doing extracurricular activities that they needed to give me the ability to, I guess, step out from underneath them and go and do other things.
So where do you do your driving or your commutes?
So I think that largely I drive from between Halava, where I live, and Aina Haina, and no, not Aina Haina, sorry, between Halava, where I live, Waimanalo, and Pali, or the New Uanu region. It's just mostly I drive to and from either my jobs or school.
Okay, so is this your only car?
Yes, this is my only car.
Okay. Um, so I've asked you do who else drives in this car with you?
So largely when I'm driving actually on my own. Due to the fact that I have a single cabin truck, there's only the two seats, three if you want to count the bench. But due to the fact that I drive standard, largely people can't sit in the bench seat. Um, and it just means that most of my driving is uh, by myself. I mean, it's yeah.
Okay. So you say you do a lot of hauling. What kind of stuff do you usually haul? What do you keep in here?
So normally, what I would be hauling would be light building materials because we do have to build bunkers and upkeep the field for the paintball field that I work at. So recently, it would have been we hauled ooh, 4 foot diameter PVC tubing.
Mm.
Yeah. So and I mean each one being 6 feet long and upwards of 100 something pounds. I mean it took a while, but if I didn't have a truck, I wouldn't even be able to do these jobs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you have anything on that truck as far as like a rack or a toolbox or a cover for the bed like that?
No, I do not. Largely, I had a toolbox before, but I actually removed it off the back of my truck.
Why is that?
I actually removed it largely because it was mostly used as storage for like my paintball gear, but I could fit that all into a bag and throw that inside the interior of my truck. So in the end, I just emptied it out, and it ended up being like 50, 70 pounds of extra weight on my truck. So me and my uncle just took it off, and he ended up using it on one of his trucks.
Oh, you mentioned your uncle. Okay. So where do you take this car to fix whenever it breaks down? If
Largely, I would actually take it to my uncle. He is actually my family's mechanic. He's been working on
oh, that's
either
good.
my truck or my brother's trucks for as long as I can remember.
Oh, that's a good resource to have. Um, if it wasn't for your uncle, I mean, as far as being a mechanic, would you really want? Would you have preferred getting this car? I know it's a present that you got from your dad, and why not? It's a free car, but what would be your be your preferred car actually?
Um, to be honest, if it wasn't my dream car, which is a '57 Bel Air, uh, it this truck would actually fall into the area of a preferred vehicle for me. I actually like the compact truck size. Usually V6 range. Just I don't need like a V8 Titan or Tundra to like go rumbling down the street. I just need a truck that's big enough for me to haul small items and what I mean, be able to drive me daily.
Okay, so as far as you said you carry your equipment and stuff in your truck. Do you feel that it's a pretty safe car where you have security system or something as far as as a deterrent or um
I guess it matters where it's parked. Yes, it's safe, but I actually don't have an electronic alarm system in it, so I just have the standard car locks and stuff like that. Um, where while that is safe for most periods of time, I've actually had it broken into before. Um,
you
I've
did
had
have.
someone come. Yeah, I've had someone come with a. I guess they use a screwdriver or something, and they actually just popped my lock. It happens, I guess.
So
It's
did,
it's
so
terrible.
did they steal the car?
No, they that was the
Oh,
weirdest part. They broke in and they left the car, but they took all, not all. They took most of the things inside it, even like registration paperwork. I don't know what they're even trying to do. They must have broken and seen that it was a standard vehicle and just figured they couldn't steal it and then ran away.
so you think a security system for a car is really important as far as
I would have to actually say yes. Even though I currently do not own one or partake in the use of one, I actually would wholeheartedly believe that um, you having a security system in your car is important and good for you.
yeah. So I know it's an older model vehicle. How long have you had this car?
I've had this vehicle for, I believe, 7 years. I graduated in 2011, and I've had it since.
Oh, that's good. So um, it's not too much more questions. With the um, just one curious thing about your dream car. Why do you think when that Bel Air is a thing that you'd um want as far as if it wasn't for the truck? Why is that 757 Bel Air uh on your mind as far as a dream type of car?
I have no real way to explain it. No one in my family, other than my uncle, who bought one after he bought it after the fact of me falling in love with the car, um, has actually owned one. I think something about the lines on that vehicle is just it it looks really nice. There's something about those like the rounded lines and the double flayed fin down the side of the 57 Bel Air with especially all of the chrome that's like strewn across it. It is uh, it is kind of just a really beautiful car to see drive past you when they're in good condition.
Yeah, so you would prefer the older car to a newer one?
I'd have to say yes.
Yeah.
If you were to give me the option of driving a 57 Bel Air every day, I don't care with a 3-speed transmission. I'd even drive a Nomad, the station wagon version of the car. But just something about that era of cars, those late 50s Chevys or Chevrolets, I don't know. I fell in love with them.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to the some of our lessons in our class where the old the old things are more preferred as being built better maybe, and the looks as far as streamlining the design of things. So do you feel like the car that you have, um does it have any of those type of qualities, do you think? Or
So
is it more
yes
like
and no. So yes, in the sense that the car is streamlined well, and that you know what I mean. The as air
dynamics?
streamlining technology went on in the years, you know what I mean. They're able to better fix the technology, right? Their cars are to be able to become a little bit more sleeker and everything, and run a little bit well. Have nicer body channels so that air doesn't get caught up and stuff. However, I would have to agree with some of the points that you stated, where you said that you're saying that heavier material items have a better sense of quality, and this is actually like this it's actually been proven through studies that like vehicle or like not necessarily vehicles but items to the touch that seem denser and heavier are actually more important or get given a better sense of value to us. And I feel that that is something that was important before. Nowadays, they're trying to make it out of the cheapest, quickest, best quote unquote material. But sometimes the alloys and everything, they're really light and they can feel thin and stuff to the touch. But with older material things, it's all you know what I mean. It's steel, it's iron, it has density and to it when you pick it up and when you use it.
Hmm. Yeah, I understand that. I like what you said. So so as far as, I guess, since it's lighter and stuff, how's the gas mileage on your car? As
I would have to say, I guess, for a truck of its size and age, we do have to bring an age to it. Um, it actually is okay. I mean, I only fill up my tank once a week, and that's with 2 trips to Waimanalo and 5 trips up and down the Pali. So I mean,
how many cylinders is that car?
it's a 6-cylinder too.
Oh, yeah, right on. Okay.
So yeah.
So you got some power there too on that car, and it sounds like pretty dependable yet. And at least we're not adding more junk into the landfills.
Yes.
We still save, Um, I think that's pretty much good. Is there anything else you want to say about your car as far as
No, nothing
when?
comes to mind before we switch.
All right, thank you
All
for
right.
that. Thank you.
Okay, so let's try and get this interview done then.
Shoots.
All right. So, hello, Carmelito.
How's it, bro?
We're gonna be doing this interview process again. Hopefully, we will finish it this time.
Okay, we got him.
Okay,
It's live. It's live.
no worries. So I just gotta ask, what kind of vehicle do you drive? Since we are gonna continue speaking about cars today.
Okay. I drive a Toyota Tacoma 2007. Um, ex- the the large bed with a little. It's what is that? It's just a crew cab. Just what two and a half doors or whatever they call. Yeah.
So, why did you pick this particular car?
Well, I really liked I wanted a truck in for one thing, and I work in construction, and um it seemed to be a good idea that I get a truck that I could also haul things and carry my tools, and I work in construction, and it's it's a good truck, and it had good ratings as far as dependability and even resale.
Okay. So, do you think that driving a truck is important for construction?
It's not required, but if you do residential or do want to do your own, truck is pretty much the preferred vehicle because you're gonna be carrying a lot of material on top of your tools, and you know weight is a big thing, and trucks is the most preferred um, vehicle for that. I know it's some people have smaller cars and they do be able to stuff, but they can really kind of carry like one 2x4s or wood panels on their car, you know. So it's important, I think, as far as being a construction worker that you have a truck.
So, if I may ask, when did you start driving?
Uh, I guess I started at 11th grade. I was about 17, I guess. Well, that's when I started getting on permit because I I I was driving before that, but it's not legally. So legally, about at 17 years old, right before I graduated.
So, who taught you how to drive?
I had a friend that my classmate. He had to work a lot, so he was helping out his family, and uh, he had a car. He had to go work, and I helped him a lot in the school stuff. And eventually, he gave me the car that he had when as soon as he was able to buy him a new car. So he taught me. We went around the island and um, just made me comfortable, and showed me how to just drive and worry about myself instead of you know all these other people.
So do you feel that learning how to drive was extremely important to you?
Yeah, I think as a high schooler at that time, you wanted to be considered knowing how to drive. I mean, a lot of the older guys in my stuff, they had cars, they had Volkswagen Bugs, and they used to soup all that up. And I wasn't really into souping anything up. I just wanted to be able to drive too. So yeah, I got a car from my dad too at that time, and I had like one old Dodge Dart, one four-door Dodge Dart, which was kind of cool. And of course, I was almost like one taxi driver with all my friends. Four doors, all my friends. I'll be driving already, and
So
you
back then, what would you do with your car?
know. I was at 11th grade. I joined the military.
Mm,
So I joined the military, and then my mom and I wanted to go school. I went to community college too, and Leeward, and I needed to get around as far as and for work and have my job. So between that, the school and work, that was pretty much. But I was at 11th grade, right? So I just mostly needed to go to my 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 unit to do my weekly training. I mean monthly training like that, and mostly it was to go around and party with the guys.
mm,
You know, get the boys around, and I was older and stuff like that, but yeah, it was just mainly for that reasons. And my mom was proud of me, and they was getting a new car, so they gave me the old one.
mm. So with all these different makes and models you've driven, how did you choose the Toyota Tacoma?
Um, I think I really wanted one truck. Yeah, so I've had countless trucks in my life, but as far as looking at the dependability, resale, performance, maintenance, the Tacomas had a pretty good rating at that time, and I thought that that was best suited for me, and I could afford it. Yeah.
Um, so this is the first time you've mentioned it. But do you believe that the resale value of a vehicle is extremely important into you purchasing?
Um, I do. I do. It's not extremely important. It's not the main reason why you would want to buy them, but it also adds to the value of why you buying a certain type. Because if you want to switch off, you can get some of your money back, and that'll go towards your next car. And I wouldn't want to be really just have buy one car, that one breaks, and then I gotta go buy another one. I mean, I think I've changed my way of thinking about cars. Before it was used to be like just any car that I could get my hands on was good, but now it's like I was able to have a choice. So I think being able to have the choice, I was able to look into things, and being that buying a car is one of the biggest purchases you can really make in life, other than buying one house.
Mm,
So I wanted to make sure that I bought something that was had all the qualities of performance, good maintenance, resale value, the looks, and all the reasons of why I need them, like for my job and things, and hauling things like that.
So you said that the resale wasn't the most important aspect. I'd have to ask then, in your opinion, what is the most important aspect of buying a vehicle?
Dependability, dependability. You know, you you bought the car for reasons of getting you from one place to another, and that's the main thing. I've had cars that I got for free, and they would break down, right? And that's an inconvenience that most people just dread to have, as far as that. And dependability, I think, is really important as far as when you want to buy a car. I mean, if it's given to you or you getting them real cheap, you buying exactly what you paid for.
Right.
So yeah, and I it was new, so I knew I could depend on this for as long as at least my warranty, which is 5 years most of the time.
So you bring up this you bring up dependability.
Mhm.
So do you believe that Toyota is one of the do you think that Toyota is one of the more dependable brands?
I do think Toyota is one of the most dependable ones. I know that the American models are great. They're strong. Their steel is better and all that. Um, but I have had um, experiences with some of these auto ones that they, they break down. Maybe they you can fix on them and you can work on them like that. But you know, I'm not into fixing cars anymore or trying to work on my car. So I wanted a car that was dependable in that way as far as maintenance and yeah, I think that goes along with being dependable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that would continue to me into I have a few more questions and then we'll be done for today. But I guess that would continue me into my point. So where did you buy your vehicle from?
I bought it at the Mapuna Puna store. Puna location. It was one of the bigger Toyota dealerships, and I know there's one in Waipahu and probably one on Windward side, but yeah, I went to that one. They had one good variety. I think it's the bigger than the one in Waipahu, so they had more varieties that I could choose from.
So would you say that this idea of choice when you go to these car dealerships is important, or are you someone that would be more willing to ship in a particular vehicle if it had everything you wanted, or would you say that
I think just by having it there and being able to test drive them at that point is a good way to sell the car if there's always one dealer, because of course you can have the dealers that have the option for you to go and get exactly what you want, the color and stuff, and maybe because they don't have it in there, maybe their lot is small, but because you have that choice in front of you and you have the power to test drive each one and feel it out. I think that's one good selling point, that it's you have choice.
so with this idea of test driving cars, do you feel that it's important for you to test drive the vehicle before you get it?
Yes,
Especially, I guess, in a new vehicle.
yes, very, very, because it's more mass produced. I think nowadays they can overlook a lot of things, and being that the foreign cars or Japanese cars, which is Toyota, they use less lighter steel and all that, and you can think to the point of how how well it is. Some cars, they're the same cars, but for some reason, it was something else in the car that just doesn't feel right. Maybe they never put them together as well as this other one, or or they never break them in as well as this, so test driving them, like I always gun the engine even with the guy inside the car. I'll check the acceleration, and check the stopping power,
Ah,
even if it's in there, and we'll stop, because I want it. I don't want to, because that one car, most of the time you test drive that car, it's gonna be that car you're gonna drive. So you
right.
want to feel that stopping uh, action, and you want to feel that acceleration thing. You don't want no knocking at acceleration, and you
Mhm.
don't want a vibration in a brake. So test driving is important.
I have two more questions for you, and I think that we'll be done for today. So my first question would be, when test driving these vehicles, do you want to test drive it to the extent of what um what you do in a daily basis, or do you just have like an idea of what you want to test it for?
Yeah, I don't think you can do it for your daily basis, because that would be driving it longer. You only have actually want to test drive. Maybe you only go in short distances like that. But like I said, the acceleration and the braking power, in those two things, you want to be able to go, and you want to be able to stop. You know, and of course, when you drive, how the thing feel while you're driving it. Can you get it to the position that you want? What how the seats feel. How the dashboard, how you interact with the dashboard, as far as does the steering wheel, when you sit down, can you see all those instruments? Can you reach well enough when I think they pretty much scale the things down. As far as I remember, one of our things where they had the model scales that they use as far as building, or even making prototypes of things, right? So it's an
And then
everything. So I think they try. I guess maybe with Toyota vehicles, they have Asians are shorter, so maybe they take that into consideration when they build their cars or something. But they also gotta think that it's not only going to be Asians buying them, and then they're going to be big people, so they gotta take all that into consideration. And yeah, yeah, it's
and you
important.
actually brought up a very interesting point that leads into my last question before we end today. Um, so do you believe where the car is made is important? Necessarily. So, do you believe that if it is a car made and assembled within the U.S., would be a better rated car to you versus a car made outside of the U.S.?
um I gotta go with, because the ratings in Consumer Report, and my girlfriend helps me a lot in that. Um, I believe that the past, we were building our cars um dependable. We went for, as far as going for strength, and we was pretty much, the US was pretty much into, I think they're more into how solid our cars were compared to the steel from the thing. But it they had to consider um the cost of making them that strong, and and the reasons why they making them that strong. I mean, I think the Japanese has improved as far as creating with lighter metals and designing them into where it it'll withstand enough force and stuff like that. And I do wish, I mean, I wish the American cars were a lot more gas, as far as gas is. They would make things less, more economical, and not as much as a gas guzzler like a lot of the older US cars, and V8. And um yeah, I guess it did play a part of my buying the car. Not too much, because I was more into, you're looking at price, dependability, and you know, I I wasn't really worried about where the thing was made. As far as we know, the brand that are made um from other places is not an US brand. So I mean, we should be doing that more in the US, so that we get that, um that reputation of being um dependable, cost-worthy, and that way it'll stay in the US economy instead of going out to the other countries. you know I mean, things have changed as far as marketing, and like the last our last assignment with globalization. you know it's like we have a bigger choice nowadays, so we get to look further, not only in the US. So I guess the answer. Sorry.
But that's actually a very apt answer. I believe that this would be actually a good ending point for our interview process today.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Carmelio, for everything.
Okay. Shoots.